Welcome back. I'm playing Warhammer 40,000 Battlesector, and we're continuing on with our tournament here. We are playing the Settlement. It is a 80-point target with an 8-turn limit, 2,000 point army size, pretty consistent with all the tournament matches here. This is going to be an Orc versus a Necron matchup here. So I typically think that this is a pretty fun matchup myself. The Orcs definitely can get countered pretty hard by the Necrons, especially if you use a lot of living lightning on them. But the problem with this map with the settlement is there's not big open areas, so it can actually be hard to kind of get the Necrons into proper positioning here to be able to do that. So instead I'm actually going to try a little bit of a different build with my Plasmamancers, the Immortals, Overlord, pretty much the standard build that I've used on my other tournament here, because I just wanted to see how this would work out. My hope is that I can get the heavy Locust Destroyers into position if he brings Mega Armor Knobs, or if he has the War Boss, or what I can be actually pretty successful on this map is if you bring the Death Dread out, because you can hide them behind cover, and then if you bring them with a double Scorcha build, they can be a big nuisance, and they can be hard to kill, especially if you're playing as a Necron like I am here. So my hope is I can keep the Plasmamancers in cover. He'll group up his Orcs in a position where I can end up running down there and drop some nukes on his face is kind of my hope, but we'll see. Now I do have the bonus movement. Oop, one second, I got a cough. So I do have the bonus movement, but I'm not sure I want to jump that far forward, because I think I might get him killed if I do that. So instead we'll put them there, and then I can respawn back to whatever I have to. But with the increased movement with the Necrons, I can jump in here and take these spots. So like that'll stop the war bikes, which most Orc players will use on these matchups to try to hold points. And sure enough, he's got the double dreads. Yep, and he's got probably the double Scorcha build. That's how I like to do it too, if I'm gonna go with that way on this map. Sorry, something went down the wrong pipe there. And the problem with the double dreads here, for me, not for him, is even dropping the nukes on him doesn't have great armor piercing, so even if I did a double nuke drop on the face, that wouldn't do a ton of damage. So I'm just trying to move my guys around here, and I want to keep them into cover. So we'll be ready the following turn to get some shots. So it's like we'll bring our Plasmamancers over here. Now, I think in retrospect, what I should have done is I bring the Locusts over here thinking, oh, I'm going to kill those war bikes. But knowing that those Death Dreads can attack that Treyarch Praetorian, I think what I should have done instead is have the Locust Heavy Destroyer come over the center where that wall is destroyed, and then you could have had some Overwatch shots into the Death Dread. I think that would have been a nice way to have set up the opening salvo here, because you know the enemy is going to use those double Death Dreads to kill those Treyarch Praetorians in the center. He's not going to let me just get those points going. And so sure enough, he's obviously bringing those guys up. He's doing kind of this tapered weird walk because they have to stay close together in order to get the bonuses there. And now the thing that's kind of weird about this is they can shoot the flamer around the corners. And now thankfully I got two of my Treyarchs to resurrect, but he's got Storm Boys here, so he obviously jumped them and got the kill. Now, it shows that one of my guys is still alive, so I don't know if that's true, because he immediately then dies, so I assumed it was a bug, but I don't know if he had a different guy doing an attack or not. Yeah, I'm going to drink something because I keep having to cough here. Alright, so he's doing kind of the pretty standard Gretchen build. Now, some people like to use the Orc Boys with the rocket launchers against the Necron players. It can work out fairly well because it has good splash and they have pretty decent armor piercing, but it means you can only attack with their main weapon every 2 turns. So unless you're really adept at doing that pretty regularly, I actually find it not to be super effective, and I'd much rather have flash gits or the Ludas, something like that instead. But it's one way to allow you to do a lot of damage, especially against Immortals if they do have a lot of living lightning builds. It's one way to do that. I just personally find it difficult to play that way myself. So I'm going to bring my Locust Heavy Destroyers because I really want to kill these the bikers here. And I move the Scarab so it's out of the way. And I only have a 50% chance to hit, and thankfully I land both of them. So statistically that really should not happen. But the coin flip worked for us, so now I can just run down with these Immortals here and get the shot here, and this should be able to get the kill here, and then I can capture back this point. Now, unfortunately, I moved them too quickly, so I ended up freaking blowing them up with the freaking bike blowing up, because I had started that move before the explosion triggered, and so I was like, damn it, I can't believe that just freaking happened to me. So I'm like, well, I guess because these guys are weak, I've got to bring my Treyarch Praetorians down here to start smacking these boys around to stop him from capturing this point back, because I was supposed to just body block it with the Scarabs, but that is not going to happen now that I ended up blowing him up with that explosion. So I'm like, shit, I can't believe I freaking did that. So now I see he's got Storm Boys and everybody else over here, so it's like I'm going to turn those Treyarchs so they're facing the other way so he doesn't get free rear attacks on me. And again, I would really like to take out these war bikes here so I could potentially take these points back. So I'm like, well, maybe if I put you here, I can land some shots. So it's only a 45% chance to hit, and I land one of them. So I'm like, alright, I guess I shouldn't be too upset by that. It'd be asking for too much, I think, if I landed 2 of those attacks back to back, those 50%ers. But it's like, I should be able to get you down here, and then you should be able to do 50 damage. And I do, so it's like, alright, I'm taking out the 2 war bikes, so those are main movement things for the orcs, so I'm glad that those are definitely gone. So it's like, alright, well, I should be able to move these guys down and get a bunch of shots into the Storm Boys, but they're pretty tanky. So it's like I can kill almost 2 units. Full health units there, I should say. And it's like, let's bring you down here and try to boost the movement here. So it's like I bring you there and here. Now, perhaps I should have attacked with them first because of the splash damage. That may have made the Immortal attack be a little more effective. But I didn't really think about that until I started doing the attacks, so perhaps that was a mistake. It's like I should, if I land my attacks, be able to get the kill. So it's like, let's just come down here and shoot, and you drop them. But I do want to move you back because those double Death Dreads, we don't want them to come up, and I certainly don't want to chance my Plasma Mancer getting killed before he can drop the nuke, because the nuke is why they cost so much. I mean, he's good at he's okay at range, I should say. He's really good at melee, but he's easy to kill. So you just got to be very careful that you don't get him killed. And if you can drop a nuke in somebody's face and do a lot of damage, then you can easily get them to be worth their cost there. And the thing that's nice about the Plasmamancer as well is they actually have some pretty good abilities as well. So I'm just wanting to pull these guys back a little bit because we know he's got some Storm Boys, so I just don't want him to get a bunch of rear attacks on me. So I'm just kind of trying to position my guys in a way where hopefully if he jumps me, I won't get attacked too bad, but it's 25 to 20, so I was not able to do it. Now he's starting to plop Gretchen and things on top of these points, which is a good thing to do. Now because of the movement and everything that they have for buffs, he'll be able to kill these Immortals. Finishes them with the Storm Boys. Now I think he probably should have just attacked with the other Scorcher, assuming he would have been able to get into the right area. But uses the Ludas to almost get the kill there. He's bringing Gretchen over here. And he does jump me with the Storm Boys trying to kill the Plasmamancer, so I'm not terribly shocked by that. He's got some flash kits over here and some Ludas. And he's trying to flank around with some more boys with the rocket launchers. Hostile detected. So they throw their grenade, and that wipes out the Scarabs. So that's how you alternate, is you'll have one turn where you attack with the rockets, and the next turn you'll throw your grenade, and you'll kind of alternate between the two. That's how you attack with that cooldown there. But again, I don't find it really to usually be very effective. So it's like, well, let's get some rear attacks here. And we attack there. And I have these guys come down. It's like, well, you should be able to kill these guys, and I do. So I'm like, well, if I come over here, maybe I can capture his point. But we know he's got these other guys, and we have these double Death Dread guys over here. So I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, well, what do we have for movements here? Because they're definitely going to be dangerous. So it's like, I've got to get the kill here. Or at least start doing damage on them. Because they are going to mess me up, something fierce. So I pull you back, and I've got a 75% chance to hit. Land both my attacks. Now, unfortunately, because I did that, I now couldn't move them onto that square there. So that was a mistake on my part. So I'm like, shit, that was not good. And now I'm just trying to decide what I want to do here. Nobody's really positioned in a way where I want to drop a nuke on anybody. And he's got all that Overwatch here, so that's going to hurt badly. So I don't think that makes a lot of sense. And then just counting squares, it's like I can't nuke guys very easily. So I'd hate sitting back here being passive, but I think I just need to take my time here so I don't overextend myself. So it's like, let's just start smacking down these Storm Boys here, and as you can see, the Plasmamancers just do crazy amounts of melee here. So we're effectively killing the Storm Boys. So they're taken out. And now I'm trying to decide, well, what do I want to do? It's like I could summon more Necrons, which probably would have been the way to go. But I was thinking, well, what I can do is maybe drop Scarabs on these guys, and then maybe that'll trigger some Overwatch, and then maybe I can even get back behind here and capture that point. So I was like, well, I'd really like to take out these Ludas, because the Ludas are what are bothering me the most. And then I find out he's got Mega Armor Knobs back there, or Mega Knobs, so I'm like, shit. And he's got a War Boss, but I knew he had the War Boss. But now I'm like, well, shit, how do I want to do this? Do we move to trigger the Overwatch? And I thought, yeah, let's do that. I thought with them being so close, there's no way they're going to die, but I should have attacked the Gretchen first and then moved. So I'm like, shit, now, yeah, I've taken care of their Overwatch, but now I still got these full strength Gretchen here, which I don't really care about, but they're going to be a pain in the ass for me to clear out because I don't have living lightning. So I'm like, shit, I can't believe that just happened. And so it's like, well, let's bring the Immortals down here and just try to get some shots off into these Ludas. So we got a 68% chance. Now, had I moved those Scarabs that are in front of them first, then they'd have a better chance to hit. So now I'm suffering penalties to my shots because of how I've done this. So it was definitely some mistakes were made situation. So it's like, alright, well, now we're committed, so let's attack these Ludas again. But because there's the elevation there, their chance to hit dropped dramatically. So it would have made more sense for me to just shoot from this square here. Because I guess it didn't make much of a difference, because that's still 48% chance to hit. But it's like, damn, alright, well, maybe these guys can take out those models. And they drop 2, so now it's like, alright, he's down to one guy there. And then I'm just trying to decide how do I want to do this. It's like, well, maybe if I run you guys down to here, I can kill a flash git, or I can wipe out the Ludas. And it's like, I think I'd rather try to fire onto the flash git. So we take out one of them, because a single Luda by itself shouldn't be able to do too much damage to me. It's like, we'll let you just shoot into this guy. And I've got the Plasmomancers, so I'm like, well, I assume he's going to have the Scorches come down here now that he's thinking about me dropping Scarabs. So maybe I just bring these guys farther over here. I said that very poorly, but I'm like, well, let's shift these guys over this way, so hopefully I can then drop nukes on these guys, because if I can nuke the Mega Armored Knobs, that would definitely be beneficial. So it's like, let's pull you guys over there, and then I guess I'll just have you guys shoot into the Gretchen here. But didn't kill very much. But it's like, okay, now we know those Storm Boys are going to be coming over here wanting to take back this point here, since he's got this open. And then the other Death Dread's probably going to come and take the point here. So I'm like, he's probably going to split his forces. So we'll just have the Immortals over there to try to help get some of those kills. And these guys are over here. And he's got the Rockets version of the Mega Knobs. I actually do not like those. But I was like, well, maybe if I move you over here, then I can capture this point, because the points are on my turn. But I thought, what are the chances he's going to be able to wipe out a full Scarab squad? And apparently the chance was very good, because he ended up taking them out. So I'm like, damn it. So not only did I not attack with those 1 Scarabs, but I didn't even get to capture the point, which was the whole reason that I dropped those guys down in that location, is so I could mess them up and get there. So it's like, well, let's pull these guys over here, and we'll keep them behind the building, so that will keep them safe from the Ludas that are back here, and also keep them safe from the Dreadnought, which is probably going to come down here, or not Dreadnought, Death Dread, that's going to come down here and take that point. So it's 35-35. And sure enough, he's splitting his forces. Now, I thought he was going to drop him just to body block the point there, but that is not what he did. And then he ended up using that charge attack here, which got him the distance, and it allowed him to capture that point. So I'm not super surprised that that's what occurred here. And then he's going to keep using those Storm Boys to try to lock me down. And he decided to flame my Overlord there, so I was not expecting him to do that. Now he's throwing those rockets down from the Mega Knobs here, and he's throwing the other rockets down on these other guys. So that definitely weakens the guys, and then he also has a rocket attack with his war boss here. So he's just pretty much weakening everything, and then the Luda is getting some kills there. He's going to use the Flash Gits with their increased ability to wipe out that Immortal squad there. A couple guys resurrect. He's got the Gretchen, but they're weak enough that the Gretchen will be able to get some kills. And then he runs back to body block the position. And then he's running the other Gretchen actually up here to try to kill the remaining of those Immortals here because they're so weak, and then the Gretchen actually can do pretty good damage. But now he's grouped his guys together for me here, so I'm like, shit, I should be able to get some kills here. And then the Mega Knobs get that bonus Shuda attack for free, so that's why they had all those attacks there, if you were not sure why he had so many attacks. But I'm like, shit, well, now I'm in a position here where I can just run you up here and drop a nuke on these guys. So I'm just trying to figure out which way I want to do this. So I think I want to drop one on the Mega Knob, and then I want to drop one on the Flash Gits. So I'm just trying to figure out how I want to move these guys to do this. So it's like we got to get away from this Death Dread too, so he doesn't mess us up. So it's like we'll bring you over here and drop the nuke here. It looks like we can do it at either spot. And that hit the Mega Knobs pretty hard. And it's like we just got to keep moving you away. It's like let's take out the Flash Gits here too. I could have completely wiped the Mega Knobs, but I'm like, I'm pretty sure I should be able to get enough damage with these other guys that that's not going to be a huge issue. So I'm like, let's shoot into these guys. I think I was getting cold feet, so I'm like, alright, well, I really got to take out this Death Dread, which he's now faced the other way, assuming my Praetorians are coming for him, which is a decent thought if you would have faced them the wrong way. But it's like we gotta start taking down these guys, and I'm like, please just don't suppress my movement or that's gonna mess me up. Which he doesn't, so I'm like, alright, now I should be able to get shots there, and I do. And this guy can shoot here. And now I'm gonna start running him down to try to capture that point back. And it's like I gotta keep these guys in a position that's close enough that I can take that back if I need it. And it's like, well, I can summon Scarabs. I could summon the Warriors. It's like, I feel like we should just kill these guys. And I'm not gonna lie, I thought that was gonna do better. But it's like we kill him there. And I've still got this guy. And I decide, well, if I bring him here, that'll be a nice shot. And that should hopefully be far enough where I'm behind obstacles where I shouldn't get charged. So it's like, I feel like I definitely got to come over here and do something like that. So it's like, let's move you over here. Because you shouldn't have the bonus movement. And if it's something else, then it may allow us to also focus those Storm Boys down more. And if I end up summoning Scarabs, then it may allow me to also force the Death Dread back further. So, for some reason I decided to play him there, which was stupid of me. Literally any other target would have been better. And again, I didn't attack. It's like, what the hell? Why do I not attack with my scarabs? Like, what the frick, man? So that would have helped me get through all those Gretchen. It's like, what the hell am I thinking? And it's like, well, let's attack these Ludas. And we drop them out. Get you here, and then we'll have you a body block here. And then I'm like, well, let's just focus on those boys there, because they are causing me some grief. Now, I can't charge because I've already moved, which was a mistake. So now I'm like, well, I could warp over there, but then I don't have the warp ability available if I want to use it somewhere else. Excuse me. Oh, I still can't believe I didn't attack with... I would have totally wiped out those Gretchen between those two Scarab attacks had I done that. That was so stupid of me. But it's like, alright, well, let's start shooting into there. And again, I've been getting some excellent rolls on these Locust Heavy Destroyers. And I'm like, well, if I move you up here, but then he's still... I think they have 5 movement, so I'm trying to get them in a position where I can't have them attack both of my guys and lock them down with a zone of control, but I need to be close enough that I can capture that point back if he moves. But I also need to move far enough with my Overlord here that he doesn't get attacked and killed by that Death Dread, because that would be catastrophic. So it's like, let's just hide him in the corner here, because that should be far enough away from everybody that you should be pretty safe. So I run you over here. We still got those 2 Plasmamancers. I didn't drop the Scarabs on the back here because those boys would be able to kill them with the grenades. So it's like, we know these guys are here. So it's like, well, if I run you back here, I should be able to get a free rear attack on these Ludas, because he's thinking I'm going to jump his Gretchen, which I definitely would have had he not had his guy set up this way. And then I'm like, well, I guess I might as well have you guys come behind here and jump these boys, so he'll either focus fire them down or give me the chance to potentially suppress something. So now we've taken those guys like this, and it's 45 to 50. And he decides to move, and surprisingly we didn't get the suppression despite all that damage we just did on him. And that allowed him to get the distance where he was able to kill those Praetorians, and unfortunately nobody resurrected. So now he's going to launch his rockets into those guys. And he's going to run up and just do some random shots into my Praetorians, and then come back over and body block again. And he runs with Death Dread over here, obviously, to stop my guys, and now he's going to come over here and body block to make sure I can't just keep taking that point from him here. And then these guys are going to attack with their zone of control, and they do not suppress them, and they don't get splashed when they do that. They just attack a single model, which I always thought was stupid. I thought if they get a attack of opportunity, it should do the regular attack. There shouldn't be separate attacks. And then he uses his charge attack over there to start attacking my Locust Heavy Destroyers. War Boss is getting a little excited and having a little premature fire there. So, it's like, well, ideally I would have them come over here. It's like, well, let's just shoot this guy in the back. And I only landed one of the attacks, so I was rather shocked that that happened, to be honest. And I've got you, so I'll have you come over here and attack there. We're taking this back, we're taking that back. I've got the Praetorians here. And it's like, I'd really like to just keep landing attacks against this Death Dread here, because he's going to cause me no ends of trouble here. And I landed just one of the attacks there too, so I'm like, alright, well, now we're starting to swing the other way statistically. So I'm like, how do I want to do this? It's like, I want to take these guys out, but I should have just attacked with my Plasmamancer because it has the Force Splash, so that would have been much easier at killing those Gretchen. But I'm like, well, let's just get the attack here. It should pretty much be a 75% chance to hit. It's like, how am I going to miss? And then I miss. And I'm like, oh my god. What the hell is happening? And so we attack there, and I take this back, because I need to take it back. And it's like, well, I could warp down here and attack the Death Dread, but then he's going to be able to kill me. I could get behind here, and then I could be attacking the War Boss, but I don't think I can guarantee the kill. So I'm like, I can't believe you didn't land those attacks, because I thought I was just going to easily kill that Death Dread this turn. So it's like, well, do I come over and attack the boys, or do I come and take the Ludas? And it's like, let's come take the Ludas, because they can potentially damage me the most. And I was thinking, oh, I should definitely be able to kill models here. But I literally get them down to 1, 2, 3 health here, so I'm like, oh, fuck's sake. So I'm like, alright, well, his attack is off, so he shouldn't be able to use his rocket attack, so he'll have to grenade me. And the grenade should not do enough damage to really harm me. But I wasn't sure that the 2 Plasmamancer attacks and the Overlord was going to be enough to kill the War Boss here. So I'm like, well, let's just keep working on these boys then and take them out. And it's like I can attack again. And guarantee the kill, but then you're going to be within damage of the War Boss attacking you, which kind of defeats the whole purpose why I didn't attack earlier. So I'm like, well, maybe what I'm going to do is just run in here and melee the boys down, and that should get the kill. Unless he freaking pusses out, but it's like 90% chance to hit. So we get the kill there. And then I thought, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I will move you over here. And try to set up some blockage with the bodies here. And I thought, well, maybe I can move you closer to aggro him to attack, but it's like, again, I don't want you to die, is the big thing, because I need to have these Scarab Swarms keep being available to me. So now I'm like, shit, well now I totally put myself in a situation where you could die. So I guess I'm going to move you over to here, and then I'll use the Tesla Weave, so if he does melee these guys, he'll get 50% of the damage sent back to him. And that'll happen to both the Death Dread or the War Boss here. So it's like, alright, let's do that. And it's like, I could put you here, but then I think the 2 attacks are going to be enough to kill you. And I don't want to risk him dying. Now, he would have to get through both of those zone of control attacks. But I'm just not sure how much the War Boss is going to be able to do, is what worries me, given how low my chance to hit has been this turn. So I'm like, let's just play it slow, and I'll warp you back there. And now you're safe for sure. You're here. Now the Death Dread could charge and get the kill there, but then he's going to leave it open for me to summon Scarabs on him. And so it's like, well, maybe we move you down here so then you're in a position where you can attack the boys or possibly the Death Dread, depending on what he ends up doing for his movement here. And then that guy will body block the point. So it's like we end the turn. So now it's 60 to 60. The Storm Boys just can't stop attacking this Locust Heavy Destroyer, but they just don't have the damage output to do enough damage to these guys. Gretchen are shooting there. These guys are being forced to shoot point blank. He throws his frag grenade, but it doesn't have enough armor piercing to do much against my Immortals. And he brings the Death Dread down here to flame through here. And he actually did a surprising amount of damage to the Plasmamancer. He does 28 damage there, and actually it didn't put the damage back to him, but the rest of it did, so he just suffered 45. You missed your frickin' counterattack, and he hits him again and gets the kill. Now apparently when you get the kill, it does not reflect the damage onto the guy. So it's like I missed the reflection damage for the kill and for his attack backwards there. Or his attack backwards. What the hell does that even mean? His reaction fire. And I'm like, shit. You, I thought you were going to be within range by doing that, but you're not. So I'm like, uh-oh, I might be in trouble here. So it's like, can I do 100 damage? I don't think I actually can. So it's like I have a 90% chance to hit here. Or I can just get the jump attack there. So it's like we've taken these guys out. I've got you here. It's like, can I land the attack? It looks like you'll have some chance to hit. So it's like, let's see what happens. You're not suppressed. You've got a 44% chance to land here, so it's like, get an attack. And you miss both of them. So I'm like, oh my god. Am I really going to fail this? So I come back here, attack the Death Dread. And did 60 some damage. It's like, let's just attack the Storm Boys, I guess. Because they're actually starting to do some decent damage against me. The sound of our guns will herald their death. And I guess I'm going to run you over here to attack the Death Dread, which should get the kill. An endless march. Like so. Good. So he's down. It explodes. He's down to 123, or 132. So I'm going to bring the Scarabs here, and hopefully I can get a rear attack, because if I do, I should be able to get a kill. And thankfully, they did not spawn in front of him. And thankfully, I didn't act like an idiot and forget to attack with the Scarabs this time. So I get a rear attack there that does 60-some damage. And then we run those guys down, and we can Scarab Swarm these guys, get that going. Kill that. So the War Boss is now down. We can body block here. We can take this back. I'm going to bring the Plasmamancer up and have you shoot into the Storm Boys. And you're going to let me down and not get the kill. These guys can stay here. And now that should give me enough points in order to claim victory. I have waited for this. And then I guess we'll just set you up with Overwatch in case he tries to jump. But again, I should get the points here. That it should be a moot situation here. Artillery. Our duty is tireless. And maybe we just be extra sure by body blocking here. Just so there's no way I can end up screwing this up. I think you could have made an argument that I should have probably shot before I jumped the Triarchs into there, but whatever. So we end turn, and now it's 80. So we ended up winning this match here. So that was a fun match. You know, it was a close for most of it here. There's definitely some errors that I made in retrospect. Biggest thing is I should have freaking attacked with those scarabs, because that would have really allowed me to nuke those Gretchen out, because it allowed him to get some extra kills. So I definitely would have done a lot better had I freaking not missed several attacks there. Because if I would have launched both those scarabs on top of the Gretchen, that would have been 2 scarab charge attacks, which would have killed several Gretchen, and then I could have attacked the rear. And I think on that very first one where I dropped them on the Ludas, I think I would have got a rear attack with the scarab had I attacked them, but I did not. So that definitely worked against me here. And then I also just mindlessly moved a lot of those scarabs into positions where it allowed them to get killed unnecessarily easy. The Plasmamancers worked out for me, thankfully, on this map here. The Immortals worked out because of the amount of armor piercing they have. Now, again, because the Orcs don't have a lot of armor, perhaps the Living Lightning would have worked out quite a bit better. But then the issue with the Living Lightning is it really can't do damage against the Mega Knobs, and it can't do very much damage against the Def Dreads, and there's usually a pretty good chance that those units are going to be selected on this map. And they also aren't great against the War Bikes, whereas the other ones, because of the increased range and they tend to have a little more accuracy, tends to work out better. So up to you about the Living Lightning against the Orcs. Certainly it would have made it way easier to get rid of those Gretchen because of all the splash damage that it can do. It just liquefies those Gretchen without any issues there, and it would have allowed me to have a lot of AoE attacks that definitely would have been beneficial to take out the guys when they started to block up. But then the alternative is when you are playing as Orcs and you see that guys have Living Lightning, you try to space out your guys, and I wanted to encourage him to block up so I could drop the nukes with those Plasmamancers, which ended up working in our favor here. Again, the melee attack with the Plasmamancer has significant splash, so in retrospect, again, that would have been a really good way for me to get through those Gretchen by just having them do the splash attacks there, because it would have allowed me to potentially kill upwards of 4 to 5 models, somewhere between 3 and 5 models per melee attack. I can't believe that that one missed the attack. That's crazy. I mean, in my statistically though, I landed some really unlikely attacks at the very start there against the War Bikes and the Def Dreads originally, so whatever. But towards the end there, I was like, oh my god, I lucked out on the coin flips earlier, and now I'm losing what should be pretty reliable attacks here at the end. The Storm Boys worked out well for him. I definitely abandoned those points kind of prematurely, which allowed him to get a bunch of victory point on this matchup that probably shouldn't have happened. So I was able to definitely artificially inflate his score by my poor positioning of units here. But he's a very good player. It was a fun matchup. Definitely would like to play him again. He's definitely got a solid understanding. You know, the Tau, he's very, very good with his Tau as well, and he's pretty decent with his Orcs here too. So it was definitely a fun matchup, and I very much enjoyed this match. I'm glad it was so close, and it was kind of a nail-biter there. I'm like, oh god, I can't lose 2 matches on my tournament, but luckily I was able to pull out ahead on this matchup here. So thanks for watching. I hope you're enjoying these videos. If you are, please give my channel a like and subscribe to encourage me to post more content for you. Have a great day.